of Westside Elkhorn, Lindsey Klein in 4, Jen Kosis in lane 5 for Marion. Also for Marion, Beth Roach, the senior, in lane 6. Maggie Skiles in lane 7, Allison Way in lane 8. Marion, by the way, looking for its 6th consecutive title in this race. Goes back to Katie Eckel winning it twice in a row, Beth Hansen winning it 2 times in a row, and the defending champion in this event, Beth Roach, in lane 6, but probably not the favorite here.
Jen Kosis, what a tough swimmer. You'll see her swimming in the 200 and the 500. For her, this is like a sprint. You know, but both these girls, Jen Kosis and Beth Roach, they train together all year. They know each other's habits. This is going to be a real fun race to watch.
Kosis and Roach in lanes 5 and 6 right there beside each other. Kosis, by the way, turned in the best preliminary time, nearly 4 seconds better than anyone else in the field.
We're out a lot faster, Larry. Yesterday we were out at 26.3. Today we're out in about a 25.6. So Jen's trying to set that pace and drop the time today.
Kosis very well trained. Takes a breath in every stroke. Unusual?
You know, every swimmer has their pace. They want to make sure they're getting a lot of oxygen early in the race so that they don't go into oxygen debt that last 50. Jen, the distance freestyler, her tone is to breathe every stroke. Sometimes you'll see swimmers swim every other, breathe 2, off 1. It just kind of depends on what they're comfortable with.
Well, Kosis in lane 5 in control right now. Beth Roach, the senior for Marion, in lane 6. She is the defending champion and also on her way to Kansas on a swimming scholarship. But Kosis in command right now.
Hey, look at Lindsey Klein, Millard North again. Oh, what a relay will do for you.
Wow. Well, Kosis in command here, and we will watch the time for you. The state record at 1:50.65, held by Katie Eckel. She set that back in 2000, also from Omaha Marion. It looks like Marion will make it 6 straight state championships in this event. The question is, what time can Kosis bring it home in? You hear the crowd getting behind her.
She's well on pace.
Kosis looking to break 150, touches 149.87, a new state record for Jen Kosis.
Jen Kosis made this race look so easy. We could have a state record in every event today for the girls.
Truly an amazing swim by Jen Kosis, just a sophomore. And she's receiving a standing ovation from the crowd, and rightly so, as she gets out of the water.
I don't think she's out of breath.
Not only is that an All-American time, but she shattered All-American time. To become an automatic All-American, she needed a 152.07. She actually nearly had that in the prelims, but just turned in a 149.87, the first girl swimmer in the state of Nebraska to ever break the 150 mark. And she sets a state record and wins a title.
I'd hate to be one of the coaches voting on Swimmer of the Year this year, because they may have to give out quite a few.
A state title. Let's move on now to the boys. 200 free in lane 3, Tim Merman. Brendan Zubrod in lane 4. Jose Rosales Yepes in lane 5. David Lind in 6. Rob Moore in 7. And Andrew Hunt of Millard West is in lane 8.
Story of the meet here, we're glad to see in lane 7, Jose swimming for Westside. In his 200 prelim yesterday, at the finish, he jammed his finger on the wall, possibly dislocating it. So it's good to see him swimming here today, and hopefully won't play a role in his performance.
Well, anytime a state record like that is set and that kind of atmosphere created, it just kind of pumps a little bit of life into everybody out there.
It spreads. I think Marion really enjoyed having that, because now hopefully they can get that ball rolling like they want.
Well, Jose in lane 5 from Westside Elkhorn. This is one of those instances where we talked about Westside Elkhorn needing to score points from underneath, and this is some key points that they can get here.
Well, you know, you're gonna be hearing a lot about Kearney. You've got David Lind there in lane 6. Kearney has been a big surprise in this meet in putting some points on the board. And they'd like nothing more than to win this consolation final right here.
And David Lind is in the lead now in lane 6 from Kearney, the senior.
Larry, you also see a difference. Every swimmer has a preference on the type of suit that they wear. We've got a pretty broad assortment here. You have the full bodysuit like Jose has in lane 5, and then you've got the half suits like David Lynn in 6, and some of them wear what they call jammers, where they just go down to the knees. It's all personal preference of how you feel fast.
Lind still in lane 6 of Kearney. With the lead, Jose Rosales Yepes, the junior, in lane 5.
Well, you got to believe that finger right about now, it's got to be throbbing a little bit. He's got another 50 to go. Let's hope he can hang on to that point.
The final 50 in the consolation final of the boys 200-yard free. David Lind in control of Kearney.
David Lynn's putting together a great race right here. He's got clean open water out in the lead. Look over in lane 4. We've got the whole heat has been turned around on this.
Brendan Zubrod in lane 4 will touch second, but it's David Lind finishing first in the consolation final. Zubrod in lane 4 from Millard West, finishing second. In third, Robert Moore of Omaha Westside.
Those are big points right there. Jose in lane 5, he went from being the top seed to 5th. That's a lot of points to lose for Westside. They need to maintain their position. Coming into this meet, Westside had a 34-point margin if you scored the meet based on the prelims. So they're set, but they got to swim it today.
Well, Ray's down here with the state champ, Ray.
Well, Larry, we talked earlier about records, and boy, young lady, you set a big one today. Jen Kosis, our winner in the 200 freestyle. Jen, just think about it. You're the first woman ever to break 150 in the 200 free.
That feels pretty awesome. I don't know what to say. It just feels really cool, and I didn't expect it, so that's the best part of it.
Well, let's talk about the race. You were out unofficially in a 53-4, and you come back 28-2, 28-2. Very even splits. Is that what you've been training?
I have. I've been training to go hard on the third 50 and go as fast as I can. So I just tried to bring it home on the last one. So.
All right, now what's this going to do for the 500? That's coming up in about an hour. What do you think?
I'm going to try to go out fast and then work hard on my third 100 and then just try to bring it home from there.
Well, I'll tell you what a great swim. You just electrified the crowd. We can't wait for the 500. Good luck.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
What an exciting race turned in by Jen Kosis, the sophomore from Marion. And as Ray said, the first woman in the state of Nebraska in high school to break that 150 barrier.
Do you think Jen could have a bigger smile than she had right there? How exciting.
Yep. Kosis, the champion. She's got work yet to do, as you see her there, posing for the pictures. She's got work yet to do. As Ray mentioned, she has that 500 coming up. In fact, her first year, last year, I believe she swam the 50 and the 500.
Yep, swam both ends, and her teammate there, Beth Roach, they know where the goal is here. They want a team title, and they're swimming a mythical team right now, and that's in the national race.
Right.
You're looking at one of the top teams in the nation with Omaha and Marion. At the end of the year, they compile the best times from every team, and they have a mythical national champion.
Well, Jen Kosis certainly helping Marion to that end. She finishes first in a time, as we said, of 1:49.87. Lindsey Klein of Millard North finishing second, 1:54.66. Beth Roach third, Allison Way of Millard South fourth, Maggie Skiles of Scotts Bluff, and Jensen Henry of Omaha Westside Elkhorn in sixth. Now to the boys, 200-yard free. The championship final. Russell Mueller in lane 3 of Lincoln East. Zach Chain in lane 4 from Scotts Bluff. Zach Samlin, watch him in lane 5. Tommy Gregory, another outstanding youngster from Papillion La Vista. Ryan Hines is in 7. Kyle Geringer is in lane 8, the senior from Creighton Prep. Samlin turned in a time more than 5 seconds faster than anyone else in the field. So watch Zach Samlin in 5.
And everybody familiar with swimming looks at Chuck Sharp as being just an idol. If he can set the record in this event, he's making history. Chuck Sharp was a great swimmer for Westside.
Well, you see his record there set back in 1977. Chuck Sharp turned in a time of 1:39.24. Samlin's times in the prelims just about a second off, a little more than a second, at 1:40.55. And Zach has made no bones about it. He is going after that Sharp record. It's the oldest in the record books, not only on the boys' side, but the girls as well.
He's taking his first 50 out just 6/100 slower than where we were at yesterday. So, you know, let's hope he's maybe trying to put together a little different race. Looked like his third 50 was a little bit off. So maybe we can see him push it a little bit coming out of this fourth turn.
In the 200, most of the good swimmers very confident in their back 100. So a lot of times you'll see them really try to turn it around in the back 100.
And he's going to need to right here. We're 2/10 off of where we were yesterday. This third 50, very important for Zach.
Also, Tommy Gregory in lane 6 for Papillion La Vista, the sophomore. Surprised last year as a freshman, really helped Papillion La Vista win that title, but Zach Samlin way out in front right now. In lane 6, you see Gregory. Zach Chain is in lane 4 from Scotts Bluff.
I don't know that we're going to be quite fast enough for a state record, but you got to remember, he's only a junior.
Samlin in lane 5. We'll watch the time for you as he brings it home, trying to beat that Chuck Sharp record of 139.24. The crowd's into it, and he touches 139.83. He breaks the 140 barrier, but is about a half second off of a state record.
Hey, but Larry, that's a great swim. Mentally, to break the barrier of 140 point is awesome. He's a junior. It sets the stage for next year, Zach. That was a great swim.
You see him slapping the water in disgust, but he has to be happy with that time of under 140, and I understand the disappointment of not getting the state record, but as you mentioned, there's still one more year. Let's take a look at his finish.
He's just so smooth. I think it was this time it was his first and second 50 that may have pulled him off a pace. Nice finish though. Stretches out, gets into the wall first.
Samlin winning the 200-yard free championship final. 6'6" big guy, able to look over about everybody on that deck. NATV sports coverage of the Nebraska State High School Swimming and Diving Championships is brought to you in part by NPPD, always there when you need us. By Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska, the Blues are good for you. By ACE, the Public Alliance for Community Energy, your hometown choice for natural gas. And by Brian LGH, the first name in healthcare. And in the pool for the 200 individual medley relay, the consolation final on the girls' side. This individual medley, so same strokes. And really this is a race in which you see big lead changes because each swimmer has different strengths. And let's take a look at the lanes very quickly. We'll get Matt's comment on that, but Adrian Losi in lane 3, Christina Stevenson in 4, Lauren Reichenbach in 5, Colleen Carnaby in lane 6 from Northwest, Teresa Schubers in 7, and Julia Pearson of Westside Elkhorn in lane 8.
You know, Larry, you're exactly right in terms of the lead changes. You've got to be versatile to where you can do every stroke. But obviously, you're going to have some state champions that'll take advantage of that situation, and the lead can change quickly. Here going in the backstroke, Lauren Reichenbach is a strong backstroker for Lincoln East. She's a senior, so I tell you, there's nothing she'd like more right now than to win this consolation final, her last race as a senior for Lincoln East. It'd be fun to see it happen.
And you see there in lane 5, out early is Lauren Reichenbach, the senior from Lincoln East.
Look for Schuber to try to make a move in this breaststroke leg. Schuber's over swimming in lane 7 for Papillion La Vista.
Really, you mentioned about having a strong stroke that you can really capitalize on, but you don't want to go out too fast in this race. You don't want to use too many legs. So what do you do if one of your stronger strokes is one of the early strokes?
Hey, you got to put it out there.
Go.
You don't have any choice.
That's right.
Put it out there and hope you can hang on. Breaststrokers tend to be the best IMers because that's where the race develops and they can really put a nice move. Everybody is fairly strong in freestyle. It's kind of the fundamental stroke for every swimmer. Right now we got a pretty good race going over in lane 6.
Colleen Carnaby, the senior from Millard West, out in front. Lauren Reichenbach in 5. And in 4, that's Christina Stevenson. But up top in lane 3, Adrian Losi of Omaha North is also right there. But it looks like Colleen Carnaby, the senior from Millard West, will touch first.
Hey, Westside Elkhorn at the bottom.
Finishing second is Julia Pearson.
Julia Pearson had a great freestyle leg for Westside Elkhorn at the finish.
So out of lane 8, she comes back to finish second for Westside Elkhorn. The time of 2:17.22, the winning time, 2:15.69 by Colleen Carnaby. Ray's with some more, another champion down in Deckside. Ray.
All right, thank you. Yes, we've got Zach Samlin. Of course, Zach's, how tall are you?
I'm about 6'6", 6'5 3/4", somewhere around there.
That's got to be worth a lot of time taking off.
Yeah, people say it is, and they say, well, if I was taller like you, I'd be as fast, but I don't know, it's just how I am, I guess.
I'll tell you what, Zach, what a great swim. You're a sophomore. You're so close to the state record. I noticed you come up with a little look of disappointment, but when you think of it, your best time going into this meet was a 1:43.
Yeah, I was really shooting for the state record, and me and my coach were kind of hoping that we'd get it, but it didn't work out, so try again next year, hopefully.
Well, you've got, like you said, next year coming up, but let's not take away from this meet. What are your events coming up?
I got the 100 fly coming up, and hopefully we'll try and go for the state record in that too, but let's see how it works out.
Now, Zach, you wear one of those full body suits. Do you feel that's a big advantage?
Yeah, I feel it's an advantage. It definitely helps you out, I think, both physically and mentally. So some of the swimmers like it, some of the swimmers don't. I just decided to try and use it at this meet.
Well, congratulations on a great meet.
Thank you.
Zach Samlin, your champion. In the boys' 200-yard free. And he is a big guy, 6'6", big hands, big feet. That really helps out there in the water.
He's got great mechanics in the water. He's got such power underneath. And breaking 140 barrier as a junior is huge. I tell you what, I'm sure Zach is disappointed about the time, but as Ray said, the drop that he's had this season, he ought to be real proud. Plus winning that state championship.
The gold medal for Zach Samlin. In a sub-140 time of 139.83, 1/2 second off of the state meet record. Zach Samlin finishes first. Tommy Gregory of Papillion La Vista, Zach Chain finishing third. Ryan Hines of Millard North was fourth. Kyle Gehringer Prep was in fifth. And Russell Mueller of Lincoln East finishing in sixth. So now the championship final, the 200. I am Maggie Bach. Lincoln East in lane 3, Caitlin Arntz in 4, Karen Chris, Ashley Duran in 6. That's where the battle will be between Karen and Ashley. Colleen Chris, Karen's sister in lane 7, and Jessie Bayless in lane 8 of Millard North.
Boy, I tell you, twin sisters going head to head.
If you remember last year, it was not only twin sisters going head to head in this race, but their other sister, Michelle, was also in the final with them. So I don't know what it was like at home that night, but...
Well, that's right. In fact, older sisters down at the Big 12 Championships swimming for the Huskers.
That's right, down in Texas. Karen Chris in lane 5, sister Colleen in lane 7 between them. Ashley Duran, the junior from Lincoln Southeast, who really pushed Karen yesterday in the prelims.
Well, she did. I suspect that Karen was swimming through those prelims. It'll be anxious to see how she swims today. I think she has a good shot at setting a state record in this race.
Chris is the defending champion in the event. She is in lane 5. Time of 2:07.60 yesterday. The state record, 2:03.64. She's out a little more.
We're out a full second ahead of yesterday. She's well on pace, and remember, Karen's got a great backstroke. This is where you've got to look to see that she'll start pulling the lead out.
Really a tough event to prepare for because you're not working on just one stroke. To be a champion, to be the best, to be in state consideration, you really have to be solid on all 4 strokes.
Well, you do, and I'll tell you what, these Marion girls, I can't help but notice how well coached they are. They put together a race strategy that they developed very early in the year. Pat DeBase sets it. They have a week retreat coming into the season, and they decide the times and they train for the time. Look at the lane position. They know exactly where they're at.
Right there beside Chris is Arntz. Caitlin Arntz in lane 4, pushing Chris. Caitlin Arntz of Millard West, the sophomore, giving Chris a run. In this, the breaststroke.
Freestyle is where it's going to come down. I think Karen's got a little stronger freestyle than Caitlin, but it's amazing what adrenaline will do at this point.
Here is the free. The final 50, and Karen Criss beginning to open up that lead over Caitlin Arntz just to her right. Karen Criss nearest your screen, Arntz right on top of her.
We need a 28 high on this leg to get a state record. Karen is well within that reach.
Karen Criss, the sophomore from Marion, bringing it home, looking for a state record, 2:03.64, the state record. We'll watch her touch, and she touches just off the pace, but finishing first with a time of 2:04.26. Arntz is in second at 2:06.11, and in third, Ashley Durant of Lincoln Southeast, 2:08.79. And the other Criss sister finishing fourth, 2:10.24. That's one more look at that finish, and you saw how Criss really took control in this last 50.
Karen had a real good freestyle leg. It was about the same as yesterday. I think probably where she might have been off just a hair was on that breaststroke leg, but an excellent swim. She ought to be real proud of that one.
She dropped 3 seconds from her time yesterday, but that's kind of what you expect when you're in the state championship with the adrenaline shaved and tapered, ready to go. Karen Criss is the champion. Now let's head to the boys. 200-yard IM, the consolation final. Andrew Troya in lane 3. Maxwell Cater in 4. Rory Swift is in 5. Curtis Benson, the Bulldog, the junior, in lane 6. Kevin Horn of Millard West in 7. And Russell Trout is in lane 8. State record of the 200-yard IM, set back in 91 as they're on the blocks and ready to go.
Take your mark.
Well, this is going to be a good prelim consolation final for these boys. I think any one of these 6 could win the consolation final. A lot of them were expecting to make the championship final. Sometimes it's disappointing to get in the consolation, but you come into the meet today trying to make a statement. You're going to want to win this console.
Andrew Troya at lane 3 at the top of your screen. Maxwell Cater in lane 4. Prep and West out early.
Cater's got a real strong fly. Look for Rory Swift for Lincoln East in 5 to start to make a move. He's got an excellent backstroke.
And in the back, this is Cater in lane 4, still with the lead, but down in lane 7, Kevin Horn, the junior from Millard West, making his move, and is now taking the lead with that backstroke.
Hey, it's anybody's race. They're spread all over the pool right now.
Horn and Cater. Horn in 7, Cater in 4.
Cater had a nice flip going into his breaststroke leg. I think that pulled the difference. He's got the current lead right now, and I think a lot of it had to do with that turn going into the breaststroke leg.
Horn in 7, also in lane 4, that's Cater. And Cater makes the turn with the lead. Cater making a strong move here in the breaststroke.
You know, and this is where it gets so difficult. You've got to keep focused. You want to maintain your stroke, and when you go into the freestyle, you got to keep that power going. You don't want to have your arms to start to slip. So, hey, first is taken care of. Who's going to get second?
And that is anybody's race. Lanes 5 through 8. In lane 4, it's Cater. Rory Swift is in 5. Curtis Benson in 6. Horn is in 7. Russell Trout in 8.
Rory Swift is a real strong sprinter. He's got the edge right now.
And it is Swift in lane 5, but touching first will be Max Cater. He wins it, finishing second. In lane 5 is Rory Swift with a time of 2:02.78. Cater wins it in the time of 2 minutes, .61.
You know, and that time that Cater just swam would have gotten him into the championship final yesterday. So, you know, you got to be proud. He did a good time here, and that time would put himself pretty high in the championship race coming up.
Max Cater, the junior from Millard West, finishing first in the consolation final. Ray is poolside with another champion. Ray.
Thank you. With us, the champion in the 200 individual medley, Karen Criss. Karen, this is like old home. She was here last year as our champion, 2 years in a row, state champion. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
You know, let me ask you this real quick before we talk about the event itself. Marion, who looks like they're going to be dominating the meet, how do you guys stay on top of things? How do you stay up?
Just a lot of hard work. Do what you can.
And that comes from Pat to base, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the event. 27-1 backstroke, 30.6 breast, or 27-1 fly, 30.6 on the back, 37.5 butterfly, and 29. Tell me a little about that breaststroke.
I wasn't given that gift. I'm not exactly a breaststroker. That's what my sisters are for.
Well, but of course, backstroke, which is your forte, 30.6, that's a great split.
Yeah, it's nice.
Get you ready for the 100 back?
Yeah, definitely ready for the underback.
All right, well, I know we're going to see this young lady up here again. Karen Chris, our winner in the 200 individual medley. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's what her sisters are for.
Well, Karen has a twin sister in that same race. They should have just swapped lanes going into the breaststroke.
Absolutely. So Karen Chris of Omaha Marion, the defending champion, and has now won it 2 years in a row, just a sophomore, so she will be gunning for 4 in a row in that 200-yard IM if she stays in the event.
You know, and swimming is the kind of sport that a lot of times you'll see families, the whole family in swimming events, and it's so fun to see, you know, families like the Chris family, the Schuber family, you know, and they're all just great swimmers in their own right, and they focus on the important things. That's dropping their own individual times.
Well, you saw the hug between Chris and Arntz finishing second to Chris with time of 2:06.11. Ashley Durand of Lincoln Southeast third. Colleen, Karen's sister, twin sister, finishing fourth. Maggie Bach finishing fifth from Lincoln East, and Jesse Bayless of Millard North finishes sixth. Now time for the boys 200 individual medley. This the championship final, and in lane 3, Josh Fleming, the senior from Lincoln East. Cody Cleveland from Norfolk. The favorite in the race, watch Adam Beckman. In lane 5, the junior from Kearney. Tyler Nielsen, the sophomore, in lane 6. Larkin McDonald is in 7. John Singer in lane 8. Watch how long Beckman is under the water off the blocks. We were making that point yesterday. Off of the blocks, watch how long Adam Beckman in lane 5 is under the water.
Take your mark.
Well, you know, Adam Beckman
still under, and now
he's 3/4 of the way there. Adam Beckman is well coached. He's got a couple of pretty good leaders. Cal Bentz, former Nebraska coach, has been working with Adam the last couple of years. Also, All-American for Arkansas, Doug Wilness is out there coaching. We'll see some of his sprinters here later on.
And of course, Becky O'Connell out there as well. She said that everything has to go perfect, but that Adam Beckman could set a state record if everything goes perfect. And right now, he's out in front by about 3 lengths.
Well, he's 2/10 faster. Yesterday, I noticed in his breaststroke leg, he kind of went to sleep a little bit. He doesn't have a strong breaststroke, but compared to his other strokes, but hey, this is a kid that went 00 at 100 breaststroke. So let's see how this breaststroke leg goes for him.
His PR 153.96, the state record 151.32, and here's his breaststroke.
Larkin McDonald for Omaha Creighton Prep. He's trying to get his team some points right here.
He's in lane 7, Larkin McDonald. With Beckman in lane 5, the junior from Kearney. He set that personal record in his 3rd week of scalebacks. He wasn't tapering yet, and so the feeling is that he really is going to be able to push the state record here.
Beckman's got it sewn up for the championship, but it's anybody's race for second.
In lane 8 at the top is John Singer III from Papillion La Vista.
Adam's breaststroke leg was quite a bit faster than yesterday. Let's hope that'll carry over to his freestyle. It's going to be real close to that state record.
Beckman, the junior from Kearney, looking for a state record, 151.32, the state record.
I don't know whether to watch a state record or second place.
153.2, he finishes first as Beckman, but the race for second, touching first in lane 6 from Omaha West Side is Tyler Nielsen.
Tyler really needed that second place finish for his team. He came through on the freestyle leg right there.
Nielsen finishing second and third from Lincoln East. Josh Fleming at the top. And in 4th was Larkin McDonald from Prep.
Hey, that's a great race for Josh. He was seated 5th coming into this final. move up 2 places and help the team. That'll give him some good confidence for his 100 breaststroke coming up later in the meet.
Now we go to the speed race. The girls 50-yard free. Out and back as fast as you can. Allison Kapp in lane 3. Allison Wood in 4. Kendra Brunkow in lane 5. Angela Jones in 6. Ashley Holthouse in 7. And in lane 8, Marisha Linz.
This race comes down to start, speed, turn, finish. In that order.
And how quickly you do each one determines the winner. Down and back, and it's done. And in lane 5, that's Kendra Brunkow, the sophomore from Beatrice. Right beside her, though, in lane 6, Angela Jones of Norfolk. Jones and Brunkow right there. Jones and Brunkow, and touching first, it will be Jones. Brunkow touches first, just ahead of Jones.
I tell you that the 50 freestyle, you just hold your breath because you don't know what's going to happen in this race. And we've got a great one coming up with Holtmeyer and Pufall.
So Kendra Brunkow in lane 5, the sophomore from Beatrice. One more look, she will touch just ahead of Angela Jones.
Real important to be fully stretched. 6 came up a little bit short on that finish. It was probably the difference in that one.
And Ray's with another champ, poolside. Ray.
Well, thank you. You know, we've talked about Omaha a lot, but, you know, outstate swimming is just as good. From Kearney, Adam Beckman, our winner in the individual medley. Like Karen Chris, this is your 2nd in a row.
Yeah, it is. Last year, it was just kind of getting started, and this year I'm really starting to feel good in this event.
Well, tell me what is going on out there. Coach Benz, good friend of mine, has been working with you. How beneficial is that for you?
Somebody with that much experience always adds a lot to any kind of competition, and Kyle is one of the oldest coaches you'll see here, and the experience and knowledge that he's gained over the years is just, it's amazing. You really just have to experience it to know.
Well, let's look at the IM. You were out 23.9, 28.3 in the backstroke, your breaststroke 33.3, 27.7 coming home. How do those splits sound?
Those splits sound pretty good to me.
I know, good time to you also.
Yeah.
One more year and you'll go after that.
One more year and I'll get it out state record.
All right, partner, what a champion you are. Our champion, Adam Beckman.
Thanks, Ray, and congratulations to Adam. I don't know if Coach Benz was listening there, but he just called him one of the oldest coaches you'll see here.
Well, he may be in years, but I got news. I wish I had the energy that he's got.
Absolutely.
Cal he's always learning something new. He's not afraid to find out what the new technology is or what the new coaching craze. He's at clinics. Hey, at his age, he's still developing champions. He's got the secret recipe.
And you see Beckman with the gold there from Kearney. So let's take a look then at the final results in the boys 200 individual medley. Beckman winning at the time of 153.20. Tyler Nielsen from Westside Elkhorn, Josh Fleming of Lincoln East, Larkin McDonald from Prep, Cody Cleveland of Norfolk, and John Singer III from Papillion La Vista in a time of 201.48. Time now for the final, the championship final in the girls 50-yard free. This will be an exciting one. Christy Miner in lane 3, Jenna Stroud in 4, Erin Holtmeyer in 5, Emily Pufall in 6, Haley Bonine of Southeast in 7, and C.J. Bray of Millard West. Holtmeyer, the 2-time defending champion, she will be in lane 5.
You know, if you have to put your money on a champion, you've got to go with Holtmeyer. She is a racer. She's got great starts, great turns. The race here, I really think, could be in second. Jenna Stroud, Pufall, Bonine, who knows?
Important start. As you said, start, touch.
Holtmeyer off the blocks first and comes up first. There's nobody better at attacking this race.
Holtmeyer is a junior. She is the 2-time defending champion. This race has never seen a 4-time state champ. She can take a step in that direction today. She is in the lead. Erin Holtmeyer in lane 5. Holtmeyer will touch first in a time of 23.77. Second, Emily Pufall, 23.99. Jenna Stroud finishing third at 24.32. And C.J. Bray finishing fourth.
C.J. moving up a spot on that.
And Haley Bonine is in fifth. One more look at the touch.
Holtmeyer's got clean open water coming off of the turn. She puts it right down the middle. She's looking forward, not worried about those around her. Stretches out, perfect stretch at the finish. And you know what, that finish, it doesn't happen on the last stroke. That finish happens at the flags coming in. They're watching the wall and they start shortening and lengthening their strokes depending on what they need at that point.
So Erin Holtmeyer, the winner in the girls' 50-yard free. Now to the boys' consolation final of the 50-yard freestyle. Eric Patton in lane 3, Tommy Vacek in lane 4, Timothy Rosenau in lane 5, Charles Wilson in 6, Arthur Moy in 7, and Ben Skutnik in lane 8, the senior from Hastings.
Hey, and I got news. The team race, we got a good one going. West Side, as expected, they've got the lead right now with 61 points. Close behind them, Papillion La Vista, 54 points. 7 points between them.
Papillion La Vista with 2 swimmers in the finals of this event.
Take your mark.
Rosenau again in lane 5, the junior from Lincoln High.
Rosenau dominated this event at the conference, winning the 2nd time for the Heartland Conference.
But in lane 6, that's Charles Wilson, the senior from Kearney, with the slight lead on the field. Wilson in 6, Rosenau to his left. It's Wilson in 6, and touching first it will be Wilson in lane 6 in a time of 22:38. Rosenau is second.
Look at that excitement. These Kearney kids, they have so much confidence coming into this. Their coaches, Wilness and Cal, those guys have got them pumped up and ready to go.
We're going to take one more look at it, and we should also mention Eric Patton tying for second with Rosenau.
Coming off the turn, Wilson was great coming off of the wall. He came down low and got underneath that weight. He had clean water that whole second length.
So Rosenau finishing in a tie with Eric Patton for second, and Wilson, the senior from Kearney, winning the consolation final. Ray's with another champion, Erin Holtmeyer. Ray.
Well, gentlemen, this is the year of repeat. Erin Holtmeyer, who it's your 3rd state championship in the 50 free, 23:77. Walk us through that event, because start, turn, and finish, what else is there?
Not much, and I kind of screwed up my turn, so that's kind of where I lost some time there. But
let's talk how important it is on those 3 things: start, turn, and finish. How much time do you spend on that in practice?
we don't really have any blocks at Montclair, so on Sundays we try and go to a yard pool, and we try and work a lot on starts and mostly on turns and finishes.
Well, now, after this, you've got the 100 free coming up, and then you're going to be on both the free relays, correct?
Correct.
So you've got a lot of racing. This is the first one. Every time you get in the water for the first time, is that a little different? I mean, is it a little more nervous?
Yeah, I think to get the first race over with is the best thing, and then usually you swim faster from there. So.
Well, Erin, 3 state titles in the 50 free. Congratulations. Outstanding job.
Thank you very much.
So congratulations to Erin, now the, as Ray said, 3-time defending champion, and she will be going for a 4th next year. There has never been a 4-time state champion in the 50 free in girls swimming in Nebraska.
Well, and I'll tell you what, to do it in that race is unbelievable, because anything can happen in a 50. If you're off on, well, she said she was off on a turn, and she still won.
Right.
I love watching her swim. She is a racer, and she attacks everything.
So Erin Holtmeyer receiving the gold medal from her coach, Pat DeBase, in his 12th year at Marion. Let's take a look at the finals. Holtmeyer in a time of 23.77, winning it. Emily Poufall finishing second in 23.99. Jenna Stroud in third. CJ Bray fourth. Haley Bonine in fifth. And Christy Miner from Millard South finishing sixth in the finals of the girls 50 free. Now the boys championship final in the 50 free. Patrick Kirkland in lane 3. Drew Olson in 4. Tim Schubert of Papillion La Vista in 5. John McAtee in 6. Jordan Lacey, the 2-time defending champion in the 200, but he's not swimming at this year's state. He's here in lane 7, and Pat Elsner in lane 8 from Lincoln East.
Hey, I tell you what, this race I think is going to be real important for Omaha Westside Elkhorn. They want to come out and keep that second place. and maybe pull an upset and win, but they've got to keep that second place because they don't need to give any momentum.
Take your mark.
Well, Tim Schubert in lane 5. His brother Chris was a 3-time state champion in the 53, in fact, winning it the last 3 years, so Schubert's trying to make it 4 in a row.
Schubert was off the blocks real quick, had a great turn. It's his race right there. Races their second right now. Drew Little and McAtee in 6.
And it's Schubert touching first at a time of 21.02. And it was McAtee finishing in second, and third is Jordan Lacey of Pratt. Fourth goes to Kirkland in lane 3.
Hey, and I tell you what, that couldn't have gone any better for Westside Elkhorn, because not only did they keep the position they were hoping for, but Papillion La Vista slipped quite a bit on there.
One more look at the finish with Schubert winning it.
Schubert was in command, stretches out for the finish. I'll tell you, McAtee swam a nice race there.
Well, there's your champion, Tim Schubert. Last year, if you remember, Tim said if he beat his brother Chris, he was going to get a car. I wonder if he still gets it this year for winning it.
Hey, I got news. His brother's got conference coming up, so that's a good time to put on the board, though.
So Schubert's win there closes out the first session here at the Boys and Girls State High School Championships. Earlier this week, in fact on Thursday, the Girls Diving Championships were held, and when we come back, we'll have all the highlights. Stay with us on NETV Sports.
All across the state, Nebraskans use electricity every day. And that electricity is 100% publicly owned. So profits don't go to stockholders, but are returned to Nebraskans. And because the power is supplied to Nebraskans by Nebraskans, it's reliable. Always there when you need us. NPPD, together with your local public power utility.
For dinner.
Brought to you by Nebraska's beef producers.
It is the final day of competition for the 2003-2004 season of high school swimming, and so far it has been a dandy. Jen Kosis, the story to this point, the Omaha Marion sophomore, setting a state record and becoming the first women's swimmer in Nebraska high school history to break the 150 barrier, swimming at 149.87 in the 200 free. Boy, what a day it's been already. Well, earlier this week, on Thursday, we had the Girls High School Diving Championships. We have the highlights from those. In fact, the way it works is there are 11 rounds in the championships. We are going to show you rounds 9, 10, and 11, or the 3 dives from the championship round. This, Paige Stark from Omaha Burke, a forward 1.5. With one twist, 2.2 difficult. You see her score of 34.1.
Kayla Torski, the current leader, coming up. She's going to do a somersault with one twist.
Just a freshman.
A lot of pressure. Beautiful dive. That's going to score real well.
39.6 with a 2.2 degree of difficulty. Miss Mackenzie Porter of Hastings, a junior.
Mackenzie's doing an inward somersault. A little bit short on that.
Rachel Hansen, also of Omaha Burke, so Paige Stark and Rachel Hansen, both of Burke. Actually 3 Burke divers in the finals here.
Just Rachel doing a nice back dive, simple dive here. And beautiful.
She scores, well, a 30.4. This taking place on Thursday here at the Devaney Center pool. This, the other Omaha Burke diver, the senior, Jessica Connick.
Doing a double somersault. Good to get rotation. Came out nicely. 39 points, that's a good score.
From Omaha Marion, Jill Smolzik.
Marion's got 2 divers that are in the top 6 at this point. A back 1.5. Very nice. Came up a little bit short.
Marion really hasn't been known for their diving, but the last 2 years they've done very well, scored very well in the diving.
Well, the hard part is it was dominated by Cassie Hansen the last couple of years.
That's right.
Erin Mertz doing a back dive straight. Very nice.
Callie Fryer, junior from Millard North. She'll try reverse 1.5 somersault.
A lot of concentration. They want to get away from the door so they can start the back rotation. Knees were bent just a little bit there.
Well, last year Maggie Rizak of Omaha Marion finished second to Cassie Hansen, but that happened about 3 years in a row. People were finishing second to Cassie. So this is Maggie's time to shine, and she certainly does.
As a senior, you'd like to see her come out. A back 1.5. Nice. That'll score real high.
In fact, that's the best score of the 9th round at 40.25. The degree of difficulty there, 2.3.
Hey, good to see an Omaha Central girl here, Alicia Kellen. Doing a reverse, 2.3 difficulty, very nice. A little bit short on the entry.
37.95, so that rounds up the first dive of the finals or the 9th dive overall. Usually in meets, these girls are only diving 6 times. We come to state and they have 11 dives.
And we've cut it down to 12. Paige Stark doing a back dive straight. Legs over the top just a hair.
32.8, Kayla Torski, now the freshman.
Kayla's probably one of the most talented divers in this meet. Just a freshman, and she's already making a mark.
We talked about having 11 dives they have to perform. And
difficult dive back. That's a forward 1.5 with 2 twists. It was off just a hair. That probably will take her out of the lead at this point.
Mackenzie Porter. Back double somersault.
Opened up a little bit late. It's going to hurt her some.
Then Hansen from Burke.
Back somersault, 2.5 twists. It's real important for the diver to come all the way around and be facing the other direction to complete the dive. Very nice.
51.3.
That's probably one of the highest scores you'll see.
Degree of difficulty 2.7. A fantastic dive by Rachel Hansen.
This will just be a forward 2.5. Important to get good rotation off of the board. Open up. Went over just a hair.
And that's Cluth from Columbus. Now Jessica Connick from Burke.
Back dive straight. Very nice.
34.4. Smolzik.
Forward 1.5 with 2 twists. You'll see the approach. Get away from the board a little bit on that dive.
Scored 32.5.
Now we're going to see a reverse 1.5 with a half twist.
From Callie Fryer.
Came up a little bit short on the entry there. Let's see if Maggie Rizak coming up. This is going to be an important dive for her to see if she can close that gap and gain the lead right now. Back somersault, 2.5. Very nice. That's going to score real well.
44.55.
That's enough to give her the lead right now.
And from Central, Alicia Kellen.
Forward 2.5 somersault. Came out a little bit short on that, but nice score.
38.4, so now we head to the final round. This would be round 3 of the finals, the 11th dive overall.
Kayla's doing an inward 1.5. She's going to need a real high score to get back in. Over just a hair. Very nice score. She's going to have to look for Rizak later on to maybe slip.
46.8. Here's Connick from Burke.
Back somersault with a 1.5 twist. Nice entry, straight.
41.4 for Connick. Now Smolzik's final dive of the afternoon.
Forward 2.5. Marion's got both seniors gonna, came up a little short on that. Still a nice score.
39.6. Aaron Mertz of Westside Elkhorn.
Aaron's doing a reverse 1.5. Very nice.
39.9 for Mertz from Westside.
Callie's going to be doing a back double somersault, degree of difficulty 2.2. You got to get some good height and rotation and enter the water straight. Very nice.
Score of 39.6.
Here comes the dive of the meet. Maggie's doing a reverse 1.5. She's current leader. Wow, beautiful entry into the water.
43.05. That about locks it up for Maggie. Claire Van Ormer of Marion.
Forward 1.5 with one twist. Nice rotation. The legs were a little bit split in the air.
And the last dive of the finals, Alicia Kellen.
Back 1.5, or a back somersault with 1.5 twists. A little extra bounce there. Came over the top, was a little bit long.
Well, there's your champion, Maggie Rizak, the senior from Omaha Marion. After finishing second last year, Maggie takes home the gold. You can see the smile. Final points, 435.9. Kayla Torski, just a freshman, a bright future here at the Girls State Diving Championships. She finished second, 4:15. Alicia Kellen was third from Central. Marion's Jill Smolzik was fourth, followed by Jessica Connick, and Rachel Hansen finished sixth of Omaha Burke. Paige Stark in seventh, Callie Fryer in eighth, Aaron Mertz of Westside Elkhorn, Mackenzie Porter, Claire Van Ormer of Marion, and Emily Kluth of Columbus rounds out the girls diving leaderboard. And the champion, Maggie Rizak, is poolside with Ray.
Well, it had to be nice, Maggie. You did this Thursday, and you've got to enjoy it for 2 days. Our champion in the 1 meter diving, Maggie Rizak. Maggie, what a great performance. You know, the whole event was real close till you got into that second to the last dive, which was the back somersault, 2.5 twists. Go through that for us.
Well, it was like a really close meet, like you said, and I knew that my back 2.5 twister had a lot of difficulty, so I could really get some points with it, and I hit the dive, and that's what I needed to do.
All right, now that brings us to the last dive, which was the reverse 1.5. What did you need to do to secure the championship?
Well, Kayla, who got second, went before me, and I only needed 20 points to beat her, but I wanted to hit the dive just so I could, you know, do the best dives that I could.
You know, for a lot of our viewers out there, they don't know the demand of diving and diving practice. Where do you get to work out, and when do you work out?
We work out over at Brownell Talbot 3 mornings a week before school, and then 2 evenings a week.
How many hours?
It depends, 1 or 2 hours a day.
Now, is it just your team, or is it a mixture of teams?
It's Marion's team and Brownell's team that practices together. It's a small team, so we've all become really close.
You know, with not a lot of qualified diving coaches, a lot of teams do merge their divers, bring them in, and have one coach coach all. That a lot of fun? How tough is it at dual meets?
No, it's a lot of fun. We just, the Marion team's really close, so we have a lot of fun with it.
Okay, last year runner-up, this year a champion. Of course, you're a senior. What are your plans for next year?
I haven't quite decided yet. I'm pretty sure I'm going to dive next year, though.
Nebraska?
I don't know. It's on my list. We'll see.
Well, listen, congratulations, Maggie. What a wonderful job here, our champion in the 1 meter diving.
Thank you.
Message to the diving coach, he better get in touch with Maggie quick.
Absolutely. Your state champion, Maggie Rizak. Well, if you would like a VHS copy or a DVD of the event you're seeing today, log on to mynptv.org and click on the sports link, or you can call 1-800-228-4630. NETV is Nebraska's home for sports. We're halfway through the Boys and Girls State High School Swimming and Diving Championships. Lots more to come, including the Boys and Girls 100-yard butterflies. That's coming up next on NETV Sports. NETV Sports coverage of the Nebraska State High School Swimming and Diving Championships is brought to you in part by NPPD, always there when you need us. By Education Quest Foundation, improving access to college through scholarships, community grants, and college planning services. By the Nebraska Soybean Board, soybean farmers depend on the use of soybean biodiesel as Nebraska's diesel alternative. And by the Nebraska Beef Council, beef, it's what's for dinner.
Well, you know, the team races are going to get interesting. Marion, as expected, well ahead, 128 points. They're dominating. They're on cruise control. The back half of the meet is actually a little bit stronger for Marion. Here's the race, though, is in the boys' side. If we could bring the scores up, right now Omaha Marion on the girls, 128 points. Millard West with 70 in second. Millard North in third with 69. Tight race there for second place. In fourth place, Lincoln Southeast, 57. And in fifth, Westside Elkhorn.
But you're right, this is where it gets tight on the boys' side of things. Papillion La Vista, maybe a surprise leader as we near the halfway point.
Well, they are. They've got 3 points. I'm sure they wish they had a little bit more because, like Marion, Omaha, Westside, Elkhorn, the back half of the meet is their meet. So a lot can happen. We got a lot of good swims ahead of us.
And Lincoln East in third, right behind Papio and Westside Elkhorn. Well, we're getting ready for the girls' 100-yard butterfly here at the Boys and Girls State High School Championships. It's certainly been an exciting meet to this point. We talked about Jen Kosis and her state record. And now we head to the girls' butterfly. This the consolation final in lane 3. Andrea Naughton, the sophomore from Omaha Burke. Allison Wood, the freshman, in lane 4. Carly Hammersky, senior from Ralston Gross in 5. Jordan Hager, the freshman from Marion, in 6. Maggie Terry is in lane 7. And Adrian Losi is in lane 8.
Taking the mark.
100 fly is just a great stroke to watch. It's very similar to watching a dolphin swim. They have to have a nice fluid motion in the water, get in a rhythm, but at the same time, you've got to have so much strength and so much power underneath the water.
Do you worry about oxygen deficit in this?
Not in a 100 race. If we were in a 200 fly, that would be a concern. This is a sprint. You'll see different breathing patterns on these girls. Some girls like to breathe every stroke. Most of them like to go every other. Again, it's whatever rhythm feels best for them.
Well, Hammersky touched first, followed by Wood, and at the top, Naughton lane 3. Hammersky in lane 5, Wood in 4, Naughton in 3. This the consolation final of the 100-yard butterfly.
I'm sure Marion's hoping that Jordan Hagar in 6 can make a play right here.
In lane 5, that's Hammersky of Ralston Gross. 4 is Wood. And at the touch, it looks like it's going to be Hammersky touching first at a time of 101.58. Second goes to, down at the bottom, Maggie Terry, the sophomore from Lincoln High.
Maggie had a nice swim there. You know, Richard Conrad, he's got a couple of kids that are seated very well in this meet.
And one more look here at the touch, and you'll see that not only does Hammersky touch first, but at the bottom in lane 7, Maggie Terry with a nice finish to touch second. Just a sophomore.
I tell you, Maggie hit that finish just enough to get the second place on that. It was a nice swim all the way around.
Let's go down poolside to Ray. Hey, Ray, I want to know, does he get a car this year?
No, he did not get a car, but he tied his brother, which I'm trying to negotiate for you, Tim, for a car. You said you had to beat 21:02. By the way, that is the school record. Your brother and you both own it.
Yeah, I would have liked to beat that, but I sure think it's worth a car because he went 21:02 in a relay. I did it in the open.
Well, congratulations on the 50. I'm going to tell you right now, what a great swim. It was your race all the way. Was it a little tough not having your brother around?
Kinda. it's kind of nice not having him around, though, because that really means it was my time to step it up and my time to go.
Of course, what we're talking about last year, both Chris and Tim were in the 50 free. There was a little bet on the side for the dad. If young Tim could beat Chris, there was a car. That's what Matt was referring to. Your brothers at Wisconsin, Big Ten's going on right now. What are your plans for next year?
I'm going to Truman State University next year. It's in Kirksville, Missouri, northeast corner. Hopefully I can get Division II Nationals and give a good show in there.
Tim, congratulations. Great swim.
Thank you very much.
And that is Tim Schuber. It was interesting last year that he and his brother were in the same race. His mom and dad said, if you beat your big brother, we're going to buy you a car. He didn't quite do it, but we're trying to help him out here.
I hope they weren't in the same room together last year, man. But I'll tell you what, Tim's got a 200 free relay coming up, so let's look for a 21 flat or better.
Congratulations to Tim, and as he said, he's on his way to Truman State. Let's take a look then at the results from the boys 50 free. Schuber finishing first at a time of 21:02, tying his brother's school record. John McAtee is second, Jordan Lacey finishing in third, Patrick Kirkland fourth, Drew Olson in fifth, and Pat Elsner of Lincoln East finishing sixth. Time now for the girls' 100-yard butterfly championship final in lane 3. Caitlin Arntz, Chelsea Dimestra in 4, Maggie Bach of Lincoln East in lane 5, Allison Way in 6th, Jackie Smolinski in lane 7, and Brooke Paulson, the senior from Millard North, is in lane 8. Maggie Bach yesterday, Matt, came out of that first heat in the prelims to qualify first in this final.
I tell you, I've been looking forward to this race for weeks. Conference Maggie Bach really shined. I might add, this is an opportunity for the Lincoln Swimmers to break the streak of 4 straight years no state title. This would be the 4th year. Maggie has a chance to do that.
Record held by Miranda Shaw, set back in 2000 of Millard North. Maggie Bach is in lane 5. She's just a sophomore from Lincoln East. Up the top, that's Caitlin Arntz out there too.
Allison Way is a racer in lane 6. She's got command of this race right now. Look for Maggie to try to make a move on that third 25.
Halfway point, Allison Way is in the lead with Arntz in second, followed by Dimestra and Bach. This could be anybody's race.
We're out a lot faster all the way through the field.
As they enter the final 25 in lane 6, it's still Allison Way with a slight lead.
Great lane position by Allison Way in lane 6. She's on the outside, not giving a draft away. Maggie's got good lane position to try to pick it up.
Look at Caitlin Arntz at the top though, and Arntz touches first at a time of 57.34. Second,
what a surprise.
Allison Way.
That's a huge surprise and big upset there for Caitlin Arntz.
And Arntz did that in the final 25, and you can see the excitement and the almost unexpected jubilation on her face.
Larry, that's what we call an outside smoker. Outside lane, she's got clean open water. You know, at this point, it looked like she had a good shot for second, but it's that last 5 yards. Look at her head, burying it down, and a perfect finish.
And Caitlin Arntz, the sophomore from Millard West, touches first in a time of 57.34. 57.34 for Arntz, a fantastic time.
Hey, well, guess what? Our top 3 finishers are sophomores, so we got 2 more years of this.
Bach and Way, also sophomores as well. Now to the boys. Consolation final in the boys' 100-yard butterfly. Casey McNair in lane 3. Kevin Horn, Millard West, is in 4. Rob Moore in lane 5. Jim Fleisner, the senior from Prep, in 6. Maru Ciso, the freshman from Westside Elkhorn, and Josh Jacobson, the freshman from North Platte, is in lane 8.
Real important, Westside Elkhorn would like to win this consolation finals, pick up a couple extra points. They need to start taking command of this meet.
Take your mark.
And again, we've talked about it a couple of times already today, but scoring points from underneath, important for Westside Elkhorn, and this is really a great opportunity with 2 in this consolation final.
To have 2 swimmers in the bottom is a lot of points. You know, look for the top heat. We've got a great race, but I think the back half of the meet, Westside Elkhorn is going to start putting it on.
Jim Fleisner of Prep in lane 6 with the early lead.
tell you, Prep is having a good meet. They swam well in the prelims, and they have quite a few stacked here in the finals.
Kevin Horn touched second there. Horn in lane 4, but it's still Fleisner in lane 6.
Good race for second place. Fleisner's got it wrapped up to win this console.
Horn in 4, Moore in 5 for second as Fleisner touches first, followed by Moore and Horn. 54.33 the time for Jim Fleisner. Of Omaha Creighton Prep. And let's take one more look.
Here at the finish, Fleisner's got a nice lead. You'll see he's breathing every stroke at this point. Bring the head down for the finish and finish nicely. Westside Elkhorn, that's a nice second place finish though.
In 12th place for Burke was Andre Naughton.
And let's go down to the deck with Ray.
All right, with me, our champion in the 100 butterfly, Caitlin Arntz, our biggest surprise of the day. Caitlin, congratulations. You qualified 5th in this event yesterday, and you came from way over in lane 3 to beat everybody.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank God because before my race, I prayed for strength and endurance and speed, and he gave me that. So I'd like to thank my Savior.
Well, I'll tell you what, Caitlin, that swim of yours was very strong, very solid. Matt Rye pointed out how you finished at the finish at the wall, nice and long, and of course they were only tenths of a second. What do you do in your training with Coach Stauffer?
Well, the past week we worked a lot on finishes and getting to the wall quickly. My competitors were great. They really pushed me to do my best, and I like to also thank my teammates.
Well, Caitlin, what a great swim. They can win from any lane here, everybody. I'll tell you right now, and Caitlin's proves that. Our champion in the 100 butterfly, Caitlin Arntz.
Thank you.
Very humble champion.
Well, you know, it feels great to win a championship like that when it's not expected, but she's about to get what feels even better, and that's from her head coach, Tracy Stauffer, with his traditional headbutt to the champion. Tracy does a great job with his teams. I tell you, there ain't anybody that gets more excited than Tracy Stauffer on deck. Here it comes.
And there's Caitlin Arntz, the sophomore.
I hope she had to wear a helmet up there.
And there's Stauffer, and
he's going easy on him.
And a neat moment of the girls' 100-yard butterfly. The champion, Caitlin Arntz, the sophomore from Millard West, the time of 57.34. Bettering 2 other sophomores in Allison Way and Maggie Bach. Chelsea Dimstra finishes 4th. Jackie Spolinsky's in 5th, and Brooke Paulson from Millard North finishing 6th. Well, now to the championship final of the boys' 100-yard butterfly. Andrew Troya in lane 3, Andrew Bross in 4, Zach Samlin is in 5, Drew Olson in 6, Pat Elsner in 7, and Max Cater is in lane 8. Samlin and Olson.
I'm hesitant to even call this race after watching Caitlin Arntz come from the outside, but I got to tell you, team race and individual race, it doesn't get any better than this. Drew Olson and Zach Samlin head-to-head. Both of these teams want the points.
Well, Samlin and Olson finished 1-2 last year. And Samlin, as we talked about earlier, 6'6".
Well, we got Max Cater on the outside, another one of Tracy Stauffer's kids. Let's watch for a surprise here.
Take your mark.
Samlin in 5, Drew Olson in lane 6. Olson from Papillion La Vista, Samlin from Westside Elkhorn.
Drew is off the blocks fast, and he came up first. I'll tell you, he's got excellent turns and good mechanics. Zach Samlin's strength is he's got tremendous power.
And it will be Olson at the halfway point with the lead. Samlin right there.
Look at the difference in turnover between Drew Olson and Zach Samlin. Much faster turnover on Drew Olson. Let's hope he can hang on at this point.
After finishing second to Samlin last year, Olson trying to turn the tables here at the 2004 State Championships.
Here comes
coming off the turn.
Power.
Samlin and Olson out the turn. What a turn by Samlin. And Samlin down the stretch is pulling away, and Zach Samlin touches at a time of 51.01. the outside in lane 8, came all the way back to finish second. Olson in third. Andrew Troya finishing fourth.
Sandlin put together a great race. It'd be real easy to come out of your race being behind at the 50. Drew Olson, his turnover was very fast. Be real easy. Here we'll see Drew's got command of the race at this point. Zach is just power, keeps his pace, keeps it down in the middle of the pool. It looked like that third turn coming off the wall is where Zach started to make his move. Came underneath nice. Here comes the finish. Zach in the lead. Just real nice, slow power underneath. Nice touch at the finish.
And Zach Samlin takes home his second state championship in the boys' 100-yard butterfly. Well, Monday, March 22nd at 8 Central Time, if you love antique tractors, you'll love Timeless Tractors. This program celebrates the love affair people have and have had for a long time with farm tractors over the last century. Find out the history of the tractor through events and see how the old compares with the new. Timeless Tractors, Monday night, March 22nd at 8 Central, only on NETV. Now to the girls' 100-yard free.
Take your mark.
The consolation finals of the 100-yard free. Allison Kapp in lane 3, Angela Jones in 4, Katie Schald is in 5, Britt Samuelson in 6, Marisha Lenz in 7, and Caitlin Hopkins down in lane 8, just a freshman from Omaha Marion.
Should be a good race right here between Katie Schald in 5, Britt Samuelson in 6. Both of these girls are very close.
And it will be Schald and Samuelson at the halfway point. Let's see how they bring it back in the last 50.
Third 25 is real important to start to take command of this race.
And Schald is doing that in lane 5. Schald from Millard North, the senior, in lane 5 with the lead. Turned in the best time of the prelims. Angela Jones in lane to her left in lane 3 in second. So it'll be Schald touching first, followed by Jones and Samuelson. Hopkins on the outside finishing fourth.
Katie Schald really putting it on in this consolation final. That time would have put her in the championship final coming up, so a nice consolation win for her.
54.21 for Katie Schald, the senior who's been around a while at Millard North and been involved in some of those terrific relay teams that Millard North has had. Let's head down to the deck with Ray again.
Well, he's not new down here. He was here earlier. Our winner in the 100 butterfly, Zach Zamlin from Omaha West Side Elkhorn. Zach, what a great race. I'll tell you what, Drew Olson took it to you the first 75. How do you keep your composure?
Well, Drew's a great competitor, and me and my coach just strategized on that, and we knew he's going to be out fast, so just try and take it out with him and come back good.
Well, now, I had your splits as 23-8 and 27-2. 27-2 is a very strong finish. Is that about as good as you've been?
It's best I've been this year. I was a little bit faster last year at 50.8, so I mean, 51, I'll take it. It's not bad.
What's coming up next for you?
I got the 400 free relay, so I'm on a little bit of a break now.
All right, well, good luck. Our winner, double winner, Zach Zamlin in the 100 butterfly. Congratulations, Zach.
Thank you.
So Samlin of Westside Elkhorn helping his team, and his team scores very important as Westside Elkhorn and Papillion La Vista are in a battle for the state championship from a team perspective. Drew Olson of Papillion La Vista finishing in third of the event.
Well, and those points helped out a lot, Larry, because that put Westside Elkhorn in the lead at this point. They've got 99 points. Just behind 7 points is Papillion La Vista with 92. So that team race is starting to shape up. I hope Zach doesn't get Ray's glasses mixed up with his own there.
He would probably know immediately.
Coach Kreklow there, giving Zach his gold medal. You know, this would be a lot of fun for Coach to win this team championship. It's been since the late 80s that they had a team championship. They've had a lot of great teams over the years. There have been a lot of great teams, though.
Well, let's take a look at the results then from the boys' 100-yard butterfly. Zach Samlin winning it in a time of 51:01. Max Cater finishing second. Drew Olson in third for Papillion La Vista. Andrew Troya of Creighton Prep in fourth. Andrew Bross finishing fifth. And Pat Elsner finishing sixth. Now time for the girls' 100-yard freestyle final. This is the championship final. Jenna Stroud in lane 3. Beth Roach in 4. Erin Holtmeyer is in lane 5. Emily Pufall in 6. Christy Miner in 7. And Kendra Bronco in lane 8.
This is going to be a nice race. Holtmeyer is going to attack it right from the start.
But oddly enough, the last two champions in this, Emily Pufall in 2002, Beth Roach in 2003, which are in lane 6 and 4, not the favorites here. It's Holtmeyer, the junior, who will be the favorite. Turned in the best preliminary time.
And you know, let's see if history repeats itself. Last year, Beth Roach was second coming into this race and came out as the winner. So looks like a good race developing.
Very close at the turn. Holtmeyer, Christy Miner right there, as well as Pufall. In lane 6, Pufall. Lane 5 is Holtmeyer.
Nice turn by Holtmeyer coming off of that wall. It's going to be real close. Pufall's got a little more speed in between the turns.
This is tight. Pufall and Holtmeyer, and touching first is Holtmeyer. Pufall finishing second. Holtmeyer's time of 51.91. Pufall of 52.15. In third is Jenna Stroud of Lincoln East.
Jenna Stroud on the outside. That's a nice surprise, moving up quite a few places to take that third place ahead of Beth Roach.
Let's take one more look at that finish between Holtmeyer and Pufall.
You know, right here, I think Pufall has a little bit more speed coming off on that third turn, but it was the third turn that really made Holtmeyer's race.
So Holtmeyer wins the 100-yard free.
Next up is the consolation final for the boys 100 freestyle.
And Marion just continuing to dominate the meet. Out of the boys, 100-yard free. In lane 3, Tim Merman. Tommy Vacek in lane 4. Arthur Moy in 5. Russell Mueller is in lane 6. Jared Dorland of Southeast in 7. And Mike Doty of Creighton Prep is in lane 8.
Here's where you'd look for Westside Elkhorn to just gradually start to put command on the races. The consolation finals will do it for you. Westside Elkhorn has the top seed in this consolation final.
Moy in lane 5, the junior from Westside Elkhorn, turned in the best time in this consolation final in the prelims, 49.25. Russell Mueller just behind with a time of 49.29.
100 free is just a sprint. You know, obviously it's twice as long as a 50, but it's a great race because a lot can develop between those turns. And you're seeing it right here, dead heat.
Mike Doty down low in lane 8. Turn first, Mueller second, and Merman. Now the final 25.
I tell you, look for the outside to have a bit of an advantage because they've got a little bit cleaner water. Tim Merman at the top of your screen there. He's a great racer for Lincoln East.
Mueller in lane 6 may have a slight advantage, but also right there in lane 7 is Dorland from Lincoln Southeast. Jared Dorland touches first in lane 7.
I think we've got a tie.
And also Tim Merman, 4.71.
I tell you, what a great race for that consolation finals. Two Lincoln boys, too.
Merman of Lincoln East and Jared Dorland of Southeast touching in identical times of 49.71. Dorland and Merman.
That last 25, Dorland really came out of the woodwork to get himself into the mix.
Exciting race in the consolation final of the boys 100. Let's go poolside with Ray.
Well, guys, with us, Erin Holtmeyer. Erin, now you get to add the 100 free gold to your collection of 350 golds that you have. Congratulations on a great race.
Thank you very much.
You know, this is the first 100 championship that you've won. Your time 51.9, 25.3 out, 26.6 back. Take us through the race.
Normally you want to get out pretty quick and then just try and hold on.
Well, now, Emily Pufall, every time we talk about you, there's Emily Pufall, and You know, you two are such great competitors. Is it tough swimming against her all the time?
Not really. We are great, or we are always competitors, but we're also great friends. So it's just great to have each other to motivate and support.
Well, tell me how Marion team's feeling halfway through the meet.
Pretty good. A lot of our races are coming out like we had hoped, so we're on track right now. We'll see how the rest of the meet goes.
Well, congratulations with your 4th gold medal at the state high school meet. She won the 50 earlier. Now she gets to add the 100 to it. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And another championship, as Ray said, adding to her 350 titles.
Well, you know, that's a fun race to win, but I'm still most impressed by dominating a 50 free 3 years in a row. And you know, she's just aggressive. She's got great technique, good power in the water. Be anxious to see her come back and see what we can do down the road.
Well, she will be, as we said earlier, going after her 4th consecutive 50 next year, and it's never been done in Nebraska high school swimming. Her 2nd state title, individual title today. There's Pat DeVace handing the medal once again to Holtmeyer. So Erin Holtmeyer wins it in the time of 51.91. Emily Pufall finishing 2nd. Jenna Stroud 3rd. Christy Miner of Millard South 4th. Beth Roach is 5th, and Kendra Brunkau finishing 6th. Time now for the championship final in the boys 100-yard free. Drew Little in lane 3. Brendan Zubrod in lane 4. Jordan Lacey, the senior from Prep, in 5. John McAtee of Westside Elkhorn in 6. David Lind is in 7. And Ryan Hines, a senior from Millard North, is in lane 8. Lacey choosing not to swim the 200.
Actually, the 500.
500, and swimming here in the 100 instead.
Well, that's right. Last year he swam the shortest and the longest race of the meet. And you know what? It's tough to train for a 500 free. Doggone it, that's a long way. So, you know, Jordan making a statement here today.
The boys' championship for the 100-yard freestyle, down and back twice. The state record set in 96 by Corey Stickles of Creighton Prep.
It's going to be a tight race at the 50. The race will really develop on that third 25.
At the top, that's Drew Little in lane 8, and Little touches first, followed by Zubrod and Lacey.
We're out a little bit slower than yesterday.
Could be an exciting finish here in the 100 free.
Drew Little looks pretty strong at the top of your screen, but look at Jordan Lacey here in the last 25.
Lacey and Little. And also in lane 6 is McAtee. McAtee, Lacey, and McAtee touches first in lane 6 from Omaha West Side.
Those are huge points, Larry.
Very big points. Just what Westside Elkhorn was looking for. McAtee touching first in a time of 47.8. Second was Jordan Lacey, 47.97. Third was Zubrod, Brendan Zubrod of Millard West, and 4th up top in lane 8 was Andrew Little.
Great finish. McAtee was in 2nd at this point, puts his head down, 3 strokes, and lengthened it out. I tell you, it was the finish that got him. Jordan Lacey came up a little short on his arm finish. McAtee hit it perfect.
So John McAtee from Westside Elkhorn finishing first in a 100 free. Any TV sports coverage of the Nebraska State High School Swimming and Diving Championships is brought to you in part by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Nebraska. The Blues are good for you. And Brian LGH, the first name in healthcare. And by ACE, the Public Alliance for Community Energy, your hometown choice for natural gas. Now time for the girls' 500-yard freestyle. This, the mile of swimming, if you will. Kaylin Orr in lane 3, Kim Norvell in lane 4, Allie Bartle in lane 5, Julia Pearson in 6, Jordan Hager in 7, Angela Harris in lane 8.
500 free, you've got 10 laps, 20 lengths of the pool. You know, it's probably the most demanding race to train for. It's 500 free is a long way. It also can be the most exciting race to watch because the race develops over the course of 5 minutes.
Drafting, the strategy, is there any strategy in drafting? Is there any strategy in the 500? Or is it just pace and watch your splits?
Well, I tell you what, everybody's got to swim their own race, but you're very conscious of who's next to you, and you've got to know that swimmer next to you of what their tendencies are. Right now, you see lane 4 has a slight lead. I can assure you that these girls are going to pick up on that and move to the lane closest to try to pick up a draft. So lane position is extremely important in a 500 free.
And that's Kim Norvell of Omaha Central in lane 4. A lot of times, you know, there have been different training mechanisms to help athletes train for these long races, and the most recent is almost kind of a metronome in your ear, a stroke pacer that they put in their ear. And I know, you know, Pat Devaney, one of those coaches who isn't afraid to try anything.
Pat's the gadget guy.
That's right.
But you're right, that pace, you want to get into a rhythm. Some of the guys, you know, before they had these high-tech beepers in your cap, we used to sing songs, you know, and that would just kind of keep you on pace. They're also getting quite a few signals from their coaches at the side of the pool. They know exactly where they are at each part of the race. The coach is going to give a signal to pick up the pace, you know, or if they give an okay sign, that's always the best.
Right.
You'll also see some of the coaches maybe give a signal. The third 100 is where the race has got to develop. That's when they got to hammer down and start to get into their groove, and you'll see them bring their legs into the race more. You got to remember, 500 yards, 5 minutes, you can go into oxygen debt, so you want to save the legs a little bit for the back half.
Well, in lane 4, that is Kim Norvell of Omaha Central with the lead. In the battle for second, Hager in lane 7, Bartle in lane 5 from Southeast.
This consolation final looks very good. Everybody's swimming their own race. Pretty much everybody's swimming down the middle of the pool with the exception of 5, trying to get a little draft off of our lead swimmer. I'll tell you what is so frustrating, Larry, is when you see swimmers, in particular in the 500, that circle swim. Width of that lane is, let's say, 1.5 yards. Multiply swimming that 1.5 yards times 20, and that's a lot of distance.
Distance swimmers like this look for negative splits?
Well, not so much a negative split as much as a consistent split. The first 100 is always the fastest because you've got the start in there, but you want to see a lot of consistency, each 50 being very close to each other. You know, a lot of our swimmers here in the girls' races, they're shooting for splits of 31, 32. They want to be consistent.
And obviously the first thing that can happen in a race like this, if any type of fatigue would set in, would be technique would be lost, and that's the last thing you want. You want to maintain technique.
That's right. It takes a lot of concentration. Right about now, we're going into that fourth 100 of the race. Fatigue is setting in. You have that burning sensation in your body, and so concentration is so important right now to just break through that pain and hit the brick wall.
And still out in front is Norvell of Central in lane 4. Hager still second, followed by Bartle and Pearson.
Well, you know, you can see Bartle is just gradually, she's still on that lane, getting a bit of a draft off of her and just inching her way up. You don't need to do it in a 50. Take it each 25. You get about 6 inches each 25, and you're in the race. Coming up, we're going to hear the gun or the bell go off here, meaning there's 2 lengths to go.
And we'll hear it here.
Maybe not.
We've got a race there. Norvell, Bartle, Pearson all right there in 4, 5, and 6.
I was off by a 50. The counters had already turned their races. Hey, look at this. We got 4 swimmers in the hunt right here. In a 500, that's pretty rare.
Norvell, Bartle, Pearson, Hager in 4, 5, 6, and 7.
There's the horn.
And in lane 7, it's Hager.
All-out sprint at this point
with whatever you have left.
And there isn't a whole lot of gas left in the tank right now.
That's right. Lane 6, that's Julia Pearson, the freshman from Westside Elkhorn. Right beside her, Bartle from Southeast in lane 5. But it's in lane 6, Pearson with the lead, and Pearson will touch first, followed by Bartle. Hager finishes third, followed by Norvell.
What a great 500 swimmer. Doesn't get any better than that. Comes down to who's got the legs at the end and the sprint at the finish.
And it was Julia Pearson, after pulling even with about 50 left, pulling out the win in a time of 5:22.33. Let's take one more look at this finish.
Julia's legs are a lot stronger than the rest of the field. You'll see she's getting a lot of power out of those legs, stretches out for the nice finish.
So Pearson wins it. And let's go down poolside once again with Ray.
Well, with us, a very, very happy champion in the 100 free, John McEntee. John, is a little surprise maybe for some, but not you?
I would say so, yeah.
Tell me a little about the race. The 100 is the sprint. The 50, the 100, bang, bang, close your eyes, and it's all done. Tell me what your preparation was.
My preparation was swimming behind Zach Samland all year. He helped push me, helped give me the distance, yardage that I needed to be able to do the race.
What type of training do you do to prepare for a 50 and 100?
For the beginning of the year, we just get a lot of distance work in, make sure the cardio is there. And at the end of the year, you start to build up the strength. Make sure that you can sprint.
Cardiovascular is what you were talking about, and I'll tell you what, in the 50, you can run out of gas as fast in the 50 and 100 as you can in the 500.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, John, congratulations on a great victory. West Side, they're on their way. This had to be a big help for them.
Oh yeah, hopefully.
And congratulations on the championship, and really valuable points for Westside Elkhorn when you take a look at the team standings and what's going on there. Westside Elkhorn now with 118, Papillion La Vista 15 points back now at 103 in a tight team race on the boys' side.
Yeah, it looks like Omaha Westside Elkhorn is swimming as expected. Coming into it, they were expected to have a 34-point margin, and they're on pace to do that again today. Hey, big race right now for fourth place. You've got Millard West and Lincoln East are tied right now with 79 points.
Well, let's take a look at the final results then from the boys' 100-yard free, and you'll see John McEntee, the senior from Westside Elkhorn, is your winner. In a time of 47.8, Jordan Lacey finishing second from Prep. Drew Little in fourth, Ryan Hines and David Lind of Kearney finishing sixth in the boys' 100-yard free. Time now for the championship finals of the girls' 500-yard freestyle. In lane 3, Victoria Foreman, the sophomore from Scotts Bluff. In lane 4, Lindsey Klein, the junior. Jen Koshes, the defending champion in lane 5. Maggie Skiles in 6. Jensen Henry is in 7. And in lane 8, Carolyn Nairn, the senior from Roncalli, Omaha, Brownell Talbot.
Take your mark.
Well, we heard Jen Kosses kind of share a little bit of insight into this race. Looking at her splits from yesterday, she's very consistent for the first 300, 350. It looked like she slipped a little bit there. The second to the last 50 was actually her slowest split of 31.5. So, look for Jen to just keep that consistency from start to finish.
As we said, Kosses, the defending champ, she won it as just a freshman. Erin Holtmeyer, her teammate, won it in 2002. Kosses' time coming into this race, 10 seconds faster than anyone else in the field.
We talked about the coaches giving signals. I don't know if we can get a shot of Pat DeBase, her coach on the side. He's the easiest coach to find because he's got that Hawaiian Omaha Marion shirt going there. And I tell you what, it's kind of nice to have something bright like that. Jen doesn't miss him coming off the walls, I'll tell you.
And not only is DeBase wearing it, there you see it DeBase, but Stephanie Pintano, who's also an assistant coach, wearing it as well.
throughout the race, they're going to be giving them signals. Jen's going to know exactly what her pace splits are throughout the race. Her legs look a little bit stronger than what I would expect, but this is a strong swimmer. She can really go the whole 500 and not really worry too much about running out of gas.
Is there a prototypical distance swimmer?
A machine, and Jen is a machine. It's got to be the hardest race to train for. It's so grueling. Long after the sprinters have left the pool, these distance swimmers are still in there grinding it out.
Well, this is the 15th event of the day, 15th of 24 events. The final day of the 2004 Boys and Girls State High School Swimming and Diving Championships. I'm Larry Putney, along with Matt Rye.
Hey, good race right now in second. You got Maggie Skiles in lane 6 and Lindsey Klein in 4. Maggie Skiles, a nice distance swimmer, swimming out of Scotts Bluff. Scotts Bluff has got some history going right now of putting out some good distance freestylers.
And that is in lane 4, Lindsey Klein of Millard North, Skiles of Scotts Bluff in lane 6. The leader in lane 5 is Kosis.
Let's watch a midway split here. Yesterday, Jen Kosis was holding 30.5 right in there throughout the race. Let's see this middle of the race, what her 50s are looking like. Quite a bit faster. She's at about a 30.2 right in there at the middle of the race. She said this is where she wants to start putting the hammer down.
You saw DeBase there giving her those signals.
Every turn is real important in the 500. You've got 20 turns. So if you can develop those throughout the season, it makes a huge difference in a race like the 500. Still a tight race there for second place.
Klein and Skiles. Right now, it's Lindsey Klein in lane 4 of Millard North. Just ahead of Maggie Skiles of Scotts Bluff.
There you've got second and third place. Real tight. Both of these girls have got to swim their own race. And I think Maggie, look for her in that last 100 to start edging her way back into the race.
With Kosis, you see there,
you just need to pick up about 1 foot every length to be in the hunt. Hard thing for Jen right now, your leader, is keeping the concentration. She's got the race won, and she knows it. But you want to stay focused and go for the time that she's looking for.
She came in with a time of 5:67.
Jen's bringing her legs on real hard right now with 2 lengths to go. Second and third, you're seeing their legs start to pick it up as well. I tell you what, Lindsey is a little bit stronger coming into that last 50. Maggie's got to start sprinting if she wants to get in the hunt.
And here comes Kosis of Omaha Marion, the sophomore.
Great lane position for Kosis the whole way.
And she touches in a time of 4:58.43. Just 4 seconds off the state record. The battle for second and third. And it'll be Lindsey Klein in lane 4, followed by Maggie Skiles, the sophomore from Scotts Bluff.
And I tell you, Lindsey's legs is what did it for her that last 100. She was at a nice pace and brought the legs in hard with 100 yards to go.
So Jen Kosis, now your 2-time defending champion in the girls' 500-yard free. That 5:04 or 4:58 that she turned in, 4:58 just off automatic All-American time of 4:58.35. She turned in a 4:58.43. 8/100ths of a second off automatic, but certainly well within the All-American consideration time of 5:05.62. Now we move into the boys' 500-yard free.
I I think during this consolation final, I need to call and order that DVD. We got a little bit of time, Larry.
That's absolutely. There you see the field. Matt O's is in lane 5, BJ Christensen in 6, Andrew Hunt and Jose Rosales Yepez, the junior from Westside Elkhorn, in lane 8.
Your top seed in lane 5, he's just a freshman. That's Matt O's. I tell you, he had a great conference meet, and it's kind of fun to see some young swimmers start to develop. It'd be nice to see a good race here so that he can set it up for a better year as a sophomore.
Lincoln has been struggling at the state meet in recent years.
They really have. This would be the 4th year that Lincoln has not had a champion in the water. So, you know, it'd be nice. We got some races coming up here yet. Josh Fleming's top seed in our 100 breaststroke, so hopefully we can break that kind of a record.
As someone who watches Lincoln swimming and watches really swimming across the entire state, is there a reason for that?
You know, it goes in cycles, but it's just hard to tell. Omaha has been so strong in their programs, and just right now they're on a roll. So, but you know, hey, outstate we've got some great swimmers, champions outstate. Adam Beckman out in Kearney. He's getting some great coaching. Kyle Bentz, I think, has really brought him along nicely. But boy, I tell you, we've got some talented kids in Lincoln, and I think you'll see some state champions in the years to come.
The other trend we're seeing right now is that the records that are being broken across the state generally are on the girls' side of things. In fact, if you take a look at the last 4 years, the girls have set 11 state records in a 4-year period. The boys, during the last 5 years, only have 2 state records.
That's right. And I got to tell you that, and in particular, you see a lot of those state records being set, in particular by Omaha and Marion. And there, not only do you have talent, you've got to have a couple of things. You've got to have talent, but you've also have to have great coaching. And Pat DeBase, he does it top to bottom. Nobody else has a nutritionist, a motivational psychologist, and a coach that's a technician like he is. He is truly a student of the sport, and he studies it hard.
Really one of those tricks of the trades we talked about. As you see in lane 8, Jose Rosales Yepez, the junior from Westside Elkhorn, with the lead right now. Also in lane 5, though, Matt O's, the freshman from Southeast, is right there as well. And in lane 4, that's Casey McNair. But we talked about the tricks of the trade. You like all the little things that you can use to help you become a better swimmer, whether it's mental, whether it's physical, but all sorts of little things, and you never know, as a famous coach used to say, you never know what 1% is going to make the difference.
It all's got to come together in the end at the state championship.
In lane 5, that's still O's, the freshman from Southeast, who's now regaining the lead over Jose Rosales Yepez, the junior.
Jose's got that finger that's injured. Looks like he's got the hand taped up. It's got to be a little painful in there.
McNair right there beside O's now. O's in lane 5, McNair in 4. McNair, the Bulldog from North Platte.
500 free for Jose in there. It's got to be hurting right about now. All that tape on there, and it's got to be throbbing. Matt O's is putting together a nice race here, starting to take command. Look at the lane position we've got going here. You've got lane 4, he's trying to get a draft. 5, Matt O's, he's on the opposite side. Very good lane position by both of those swimmers, swimming it smart.
And again, McNair in lane 4, O's in 5. And there you see Yepez from Westside Elkhorn with that taped up hand that you talked about.
You know what? It looks to me like Matt O's is maybe circle swimming just slightly. So it does make a difference. Our current leader with McNair, he's being consistent, staying on that rope.
So the final 50 now. And in lane 4, Casey McNair with the lead. Matt O's in lane 5.
Matt could get a nice draft here and come off the last wall with the sprint. It's not over.
McNair and O's. McNair with the lead, though. And you see at the bottom of your screen, that's Yepez from Westside Elkhorn. But it looks like McNair in lane 4 touching first, followed by Yepez, who came back second just nipped O's at the wall.
Nice finish for Westside Elkhorn. Jose did a nice job in there. I tell you what, I was impressed. McNair really did it with his upper body the whole race. You never really saw that sprint in the legs like you see with a lot of these distance kids.
One more look at it as McNair finishes first, followed by Yepez and O's.
Still going with the two-beat kick here, and he's doing it with all upper body at the finish.
And the touch for second, Yepez just in front of O's. And you see the excitement from Casey McNair. Still excited. Another state champion is down by the water with Ray.
Well, fellas, winning her second event today, Jen Kosius. Jen, congratulations. We remember that 200 free going under 150. 500, you come back. You don't swim as fast as you wanted to. You only go a 4:58.43. You've been 4:54, but you're all out there all by yourself. How tough is that?
It's very tough to swim by yourself, and it's just tough to know where you are and how to pace yourself when you're by yourself.
Let's talk right now about the strategy in a 500, which is a distance event. How does your coach, Pat DeBase, get you prepared to swim a good race?
We do a lot of intense training throughout the season, and then last couple weeks we've been doing visualization, imagery, focusing on talking about strategies of that we're going to swim it.
Well, I know you're going to start focusing on those two freestyle relays, so our winner in the 500 freestyle, Jen Kosius, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations to Jen. You talked about it, visualization, imagery. Didn't mention.
She forgot to say biokinetics.
Right, exactly.
Marion is using a machine this year, and I don't totally understand it. Pat's got the scientific side of it, but I think it's a machine that makes the girls' hair stand on end, and it makes them swim fast in the pool, so that's the bottom line.
Well, there's Jen Kosius stepping to the top of the medal stand. And you will see assistant coach Stephanie Pantano presenting her with the medal. Pantano in her 5th year as the relay coach for Marion. Congratulations to Kosius. Well, now time for the boys 500-yard free. This, the championship final. Eric Wright in lane 3, Tommy Gregory, the sophomore from Papio in lane 4, Zach Chain, the sophomore out of Scotts Bluff. A couple of Westside Elkhorn swimmers, the freshman Spencer Lauver in lane 6, Bennett Waxy, the senior in lane 7, and Josh Reesberg, the sophomore from Prep in lane 8. So Westside with an opportunity to pick up valuable points here.
They're really opening it up here the back half of the meet, and they look real strong. And what happens is, as you gain the lead, you're starting to gain confidence, and that's got to help these distance freestylers out a lot. Zach Chain, our top seed, all the way from Scotts Bluff. It'll be interesting to see what kind of race develops here with the freshman and a sophomore.
Take your mark.
500. 20 lengths of the pool. Even at the start. Spencer Lauver and Bennett Waxy, both of Omaha Westside Elkhorn. You know, there's recently been some questioning about the Westside Elkhorn co-op. I think we saw it questioned by a couple of coaches in the paper about should they continue to allow co-op teams in high school swimming. And when you take a look at the roster size of a team like Westside Elkhorn, you think 50-some swimmers, that's a big roster in comparison to Papillion La Vista, which has about a dozen.
But there's a lot of teams that have big rosters. And I think what the focus needs to be is if we didn't have the combined teams, you'd have a lot of kids from Elkhorn that wouldn't be swimming here. And that would be unfortunate. You know, we're fortunate to have a fast state meet, and you know, it only becomes an issue when you have a team going to win a state title as a result of it. But the bottom line is, and I think what everybody needs to remember is we want more people swimming in this state championship, and we want to develop the sport. Last year, we had Beatrice Norris Adam Manya a couple of years ago with those two swimming together and teaming up. I want to see more teams and more kids in this championship. And if you're going to start opening up that can of worms, I think you need to start looking at each district on their own. You know, here in Lincoln, I think you have some kids that we have open enrollment, and they may swim for the powerhouses in Lincoln, and that's their choice to do that. So I don't know. I just hope we don't get too involved in making rules to try to create rules to cause an outcome of who wins state champions.
Zach Chain in lane 5, the sophomore from Scottsbluff with the lead. He's followed in lane 6 by Spencer Lauver, the freshman from Westside Elkhorn. Tommy Gregory in 4, the sophomore from Papillion La Vista. It's really about providing opportunities.
Yeah, it is. You know, and on the girls' side, you've got Omaha and Marion. They've developed their program. Those girls, I think it's important to remember, all 20 of those girls, they came out of a Catholic grade school. So there's direct connection. And if you're going to a Catholic grade school and you've got a choice in high school, where are you going to go if you're a strong swimmer? Marion is it, you know, and so I think we got to have a lot of choice, and the bottom line is if we focus on our own backyard, developing in the season, and swim as fast as we can at state. I want state records, Larry. That's what we're all about. I don't care who they swim for. We just want some fast times.
Well, Zach Chain is swimming the fast time right now, the sophomore from Scottsbluff.
And he's swimming really nicely here. You know, Mike Hayhurst has been out at Scottsbluff for 3 years now. This is his 3rd season, and he's really starting to get in the groove of producing swimmers in the championships. You're seeing him move out of that consolation final up to a top seed right now.
And Hayhurst actually swam for Pat DeVace when he was at Nebraska.
He was a sprinter. I gave him a hard time yesterday that I think he wants to get distance swimmers because all of his sprinters are afraid that they can't beat their coach.
You don't get in the pool if you can't beat your coach, is that it?
That's it. I tell you, Hayhurst could probably still crank out a good 50.
Zach Chain still in command here of this 500-yard free championship final.
They're swimming exactly as they were seeded coming into this race. Nice race, though, for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Chain, Lauer to his left.
Hey, I tell you what, Lauer must have hurt us here because he's gradually starting to pick up the pace and get a little bit of time on our leader.
You see the turns there by both Chain and Lauer.
Chain swimming a real nice race. Look at his lane position. He went to the outside, doesn't want to give a draft at all. Looks like Lauer's circle swimming very slightly.
The final 50. It's Chain and Lauer. Chain with the slight lead.
Lauer's got his legs coming in nicely, but it's just not going to be enough to win this event.
Zach Chain in lane 5. Lauer is in lane 6. Tommy Gregory playing La Vista in lane 4. But it's going to be in lane 5. Zach Chain touching first with a time of 4:47.08.
What a great win. You've got to be excited for Zach. He's just a sophomore winning his first state title out of Scottsbluff. Everybody out in Scottsbluff has got to be excited to be watching this one.
And the freshman from Westside Elkhorn finishing 2nd, Spencer Lauer. So those two will likely butt heads down here again. Time now for the girls' 200-yard free relay. In lane 3, the Bulldogs of Omaha Burke, Lynx of Lincoln High in 4. Millard North is in lane 5, Kearney in 6, Papillion La Vista in 7, and Ralston Omaha Gross is in lane 8.
I think this is probably one of the most exciting events you're going to see in the meet because every team has a chance to show their speed, and this is the race every team wants to win.
It's a 200 free. It's down and back for each swimmer.
Nothing but pure speed. And I'll tell you, sometimes it's nice to either get a lead early on or be on the outside so you have open water. Because those relay exchanges, again, it causes a lot of turbulence and can affect those swimmers' splits.
Mauricia Lenz touching 2nd. Down at the bottom, it was Ralston Gross's Emily Dornicki. late coming on to touch first for Ralston Gross after that first 50. In the water now, Renee Krink for Lincoln High. Kate Bennett for Ralston Gross.
Look at the outside, Ralston Gross. They've got clean open water, and I think it's helping them at this point.
And no surprise, Allison Wood of Millard North has gained some ground, swimming the second leg for Millard North. With Millard North now in the lead in the water for North, Ashley Holthouse.
Ashley's starting to take command. She wants to get a little bit more of a lead for her team because that anchor race is where it happens.
And you see Holthouse pulling away a bit in lane 5. It's a tight race for second from about 4 different schools. Burton, Lincoln High, Kearney, and Papillion La Vista all right there.
And I'll tell you, everybody's putting their toughest racer going last to swim that anchor leg. So let's see who's the toughest for second place.
Millard North out in front. We believe Taylor Redding. And it will be Millard North touching first. The Mustangs finishing first in the consolation final of the 200-yard free.
Hey, look at Lincoln High out there.
Lincoln High in lane 4 coming on and taking second with a time of 144.3, 142.97 for Millard North. And there you see the Lynx getting out of the pool. Take one more look at it.
Millard North with the command at the finish. But look at Lincoln High. Richard Conrad has done a nice job with his sprinters there. Nice stretch at the finish, and perfect.
And there you see the Mustangs winning that consolation final. Jesse Bayless, Allison Wood, Ashley Holthouse, and Taylor Redding on that relay team. And Zach Chain is poolside with Ray.
Well, with us, there's not only a happy Zach Chain, but a good friend of mine, the head coach at Scottsbluff, Mike Hayhurst. Mike, congratulations. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first state champion for Scottsbluff.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
It has to be. Now, let's talk with the important person. 500 freestyle. Did you know your coach only know how to swim a 50 and 100?
Yeah, I knew that.
And he trained you all the way to a 500.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
Tell me about the race.
Well, I just took it out hard. Coach told me to really kick it out on the 300 mark, but just try to finish it off from there.
Well, I'll tell you what, a great swim for you, and Mike, congratulations on the first victory out at Scottsbluff.
Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you.
So there's your champion, Zach Chain.
I tell you, Mike Hayhurst, he was an assistant coach for some years under Ray Huppert. Coached some big 8 champions. Now coaching some state champions out at Scottsbluff.
And Scottsbluff co-opting with Gehring also this year. So Scottsbluff Gehring.
Well, again, nice to see these programs working together to allow some opportunity for these kids.
Absolutely. Call themselves the CCAT, and there is a CCAT champion right there.
I think what's hard about swimming and what's hurting the sport right now is that it's a very expensive sport. The cost of these facilities is tremendous.
Well, let's take a look at the final in the boys 500 free. Zach Chain of Scottsbluff in a time of 4:47.08. Spencer Lauver of Omaha West Side finishing second. Tommy Gregory of Papillion La Vista, Eric Wright, Josh Riesberg, and Benno Waxy of West Side Elkhorn. Now time for the championship final in the girls 200-yard free. In lane 3, West Side Elkhorn. The Knights of Southeast in 4. Crusaders in lane 5. They're the favorite. Millard West will give them a run in lane 6. Lincoln East is in 7. And Duchesne Academy in lane 8. Another thing we will be keeping an eye on here is the girls' independent national record of 134.63. Omaha Marion has a shot at it. The state record set by Omaha Marion last year of 135.03 is also obviously in jeopardy.
This is where it's going to get fun. And the key to this race is going to come down to the relay exchanges. DeBase has worked with these 4 girls to make sure the timing is perfect. Now, a lot of people look at the person on the block as being the important part of that exchange, but it's actually the one in the water. They're the ones that set that pace because they've got to keep their arm strength consistent on the finish so that the one off the block hits it perfectly.
Colleen Chris hands it off to Beth Roach. And Roach in the water for Marion. Millard West now has Caitlin Arntz.
We're out very fast, quite a bit faster than yesterday, and I think they're on pace at this point.
Roach will be touching the wall and handing to Jen Kosis. Kosis, of course, just a sophomore.
She had that 500 warm-up here not too long ago. Look at the legs on Jen.
Kosis swimming that third leg. She will hand off to Erin Holtmeyer.
You couldn't put it in the hands of a stronger champion. Holtmeyer is the one you want to anchor that relay and just grit it out and see if they can get it.
Marion, the current state record holders. This the final 50. Split time for Marion 111.56.
It's going to be close.
Holtmeyer in lane 5. Beside her in lane 6 is Millard West trying to push her, but it will be Holtmeyer and Marion in lane 5 in a time of 135.66. Just off a state record. But Marion, once again, state champs. Millard West touches second, followed by Lincoln East.
The expectations were real high for Marion coming into this meet that, sometimes it's hard to click all four to go on this relay. It's difficult.
Omaha Marion, the champ. Colleen Chris, Jen Kosis, Beth Roach, Erin Holtmeyer, the team. 2 sophomores, a junior and senior for Omaha Marion with a winning time of 135.66. Just over 6/10 off the state record, which Marion set last year. Millard West finishing second. That team of Whitney Rogers, Caitlin Arndt, C.J. Bray, Erin Holtmeyer, and Lincoln East finishing third. Nice swim by East. Britt Samuelson, Maggie Bach, Emily Connolly, and Jenna Stroud of Lincoln East. Now time for the boys 200 free relay. This is the consolation final. Lincoln High in lane 3. Millard North in 4. Millard West is in 5. Scotts Bluff in 6. Zach Chain will lead it off for Scotts Bluff there. Ralston Omaha Gross in 7. Omaha Burke in lane 8.
Tell you, this is a tough double for Zach to pull off, leading off this relay.
Just got out of the pool on the 500 free, and now he's back in a sprint.
That
in
might
lane
not
6.
be him leading off.
May have switched it up.
That's what's difficult for us. For the viewers at home, we are confused, but we go by what's on the sheet. And these relay exchanges, they do change the order frequently.
And they can change it at the last minute as well. In lane 7, that was Pat Kirkland, the sophomore from Ralston Gross, touching first. Lincoln High's Nick Savoda had the links in second at the touch. Still in lane 7, it's Burke and Tommy Voshik.
Much like the girls' consolation finals, Ralston Gross out with the lead at this point, but this is where it's going to start to develop and see if the other teams can get in the mix.
Ralston Gross in lane 7. Right with them in lane 4 is Millard North. In the water right now for North is Spencer Schreiber, the sophomore.
Millard West is going to have a hard time working through that turbulence in the center of the pool.
7, that's still Ralston Gross.
Millard North is in a nice position here. They got that early lead and clean water at this point. I think it's theirs going away.
In 4, Millard North, 7, Ralston Gross, but it looks like Millard North touching first. And for Millard North, Ryan Schaefer touches in a time of 130.64. Second place goes to Ralston Gross, third, Scotts Bluff, followed by Lincoln High and Omaha Burke. So the team of Ryan Hines, Scott Schaefer, Spencer Schreiber, and Ryan Schaefer finishing first for the Mustangs in the consolation final of the 200-yard free. The Rays with some more state champs, Ray.
Well, we've seen these young ladies before, but with me is Erin Holtmeyer, Colleen Chris, Beth Roach, and Jess Kosis. Of course, ladies, congratulations, our champions in that 4x50 free relay, which I think is probably one of the most exciting events that we have. Tell me a little about the exchanges, because that race, when you get down to the time that you guys are swimming, the difference between a state record and that has to be exchanges.
Oh, it is, and we focus a lot on exchanges at practice.
What about the step start that I see a lot of the athletes take? They don't have the toes curled over the edge. They step into the start. How much timing does that demand?
Well, it's just we practice about like a lot in practice. We have practices specially designed for exchanges. So it's just working on your timing and swimming.
Beth, 23.8 I have unofficially. Very good on the third leg. Tell me what is so important coming in, because you've got the lead. You've got to maintain the lead going in for your fourth leg.
Right. I just really wanted to give Jen a good cushion to go fast, and I always want to give her a good finish for any relay exchange. So.
And coming out of a 500 freestyle swim and a 50, how do you do it?
Well, I think it's just training, and I don't know, I'm a distance swimmer.
Of course, it's a lot of help when these three ladies give you a big lead.
Yeah, it is.
Congratulations to our 4x50 free relay champions.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ray. The girls' 200-yard free relay champions, Omaha Marion, Colleen Chris, Beth Roach, Jen Kosis, and Erin Holtmeyer. Marion, of course, holds the state record in that event. Set it last year.
Well, and I was just looking at their splits. 23.57, 24.17, 23.82, 24.10. Where's the weak link on that one?
I guess the answer is there isn't one, right?
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, of course, Beth is graduating, but three of them will be back next year. And I'm sure Pat's got somebody waiting in the wing.
Got a nice freshman class there, it looks like. Marion not only will win the state title, but they're the champs in the 200 free relay.
Well, look for Beth Roach next year. She's got a scholarship to be swimming for Kansas. Would have loved to have seen her as a Husker, but we'll still root for her down in Kansas. Absolutely. And look for great things out of her in the years to come.
And Pat DeBase there with the medals. So let's take a look then at the results in the girls 200 free relay. Marion finishing first in a time of 1:35.66, and as we said, just off the state mark. Millard West finishing second, followed by the Spartans of Lincoln East. Southeast finishing fourth, Westside Elkhorn in fifth, and Omaha Duchesne in sixth at a time of 1:42.37. All right, the final event before we have one more break. The championship final in the boys 200 free. Lincoln East is in lane 3, Westside Elkhorn in 4, Prep is in lane 5, Kearney in 6, Papillion La Vista in lane 7, and Southeast is in lane 8.
This is going to be a great race, because I'll tell you, any one of these teams, if they're given an opportunity, could win the race. Comes down to their relay exchanges and the start and the turns.
Jordan Lacey in the water for Prep.
Jordan was in our championship final of that 50 free. Look for Kearney. Kearney's been a big surprise in this meet on their relays. They had some fast prelim swims.
And Adam Beckman is leading it off for Kearney, but in lane 7, that's Tim Schuber giving his squad a big lead. After the first
21.03 for Schuber.
Drew Olson now in the water for Papillion La Vista in lane 7, and you see they have the lead. Right beside them is Kearney in lane 6. That's Charles Wilson, and Prep has Kyle Gehringer in the water, the senior.
Big advantage right now to Papillion La Vista, having clean open water there towards the outside.
Abe Buell now, the senior from Papillion La Vista, swimming for the Monarchs. Right beside him from Kearney is David Lynn. Kearney and La Vista.
David Lynn had a great turn right there to bring down Papillion La Vista and close that gap.
But David Lynn is now taking charge for Prep, or for Kearney. Papillion La Vista is second. The final 50 now.
Great relay exchange on that fourth swimmer. Kearney has it. They've got to hang on the turn right here.
Jared Bragg now for Kearney, but right beside him is Tommy Gregory. Tommy Gregory, the freshman last year, who pulled it out for Papillion La Vista, and he's coming on, but right there is Jared Bragg, and the touch will be Papillion La Vista. What a final leg by Tommy Gregory.
I'll tell you, Tommy's last turn is what won it for him. He came off the wall fast and just charged that last 25.
Let's take a look at that turn that you talked about because it was a big one.
Kearney's got the lead at this point, a substantial lead at that. Watch Tommy's flip right here. Good power, he's underneath the wake, and that was the difference between the two. He has more speed coming off the wall, going into the finish now with 5 yards to go. Bury the head and finish with the straight arm.
Papillion La Vista at a time of 127.54, 127.68 was the time for Kearney, 127.68, a tight race for the championship final of the boys' 200-yard free relay. Time to take a look at the boys' 1-meter springboard championships. This also the final 3 dives in the championships. This Zach Eastman, the senior from Grand Island, a forward 1.5 somersault, 1.7 degree of difficulty, a nice 28.9 score. Drew DeLashmutt would certainly make a run at the title. From Omaha Central, just a junior. This is a forward 1.5 with 1 twist. Nice dive there. 49.5.